What's up and welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, May 5th, 2023. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
May the 5th be with you.
May the 5th be with you, everybody. How are you doing, Bless?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had better weeks. I've been dealing with a weird eye thing. Yeah, my right eye has been swollen for what feels like forever, and so I've been trying to figure out some doctor's visits. And don't give me the one, Barrett. Take the one off me. Don't make this but I've been trying to organize doctor's visits, and the healthcare system just sucks.
That's hard.
In this country. I hate it so much, and so that's how I'm doing. But I'm excited for next week. Right? We got Zelda coming in. No, God, no, God, no, Barrett, please, Barrett. But I'm excited for next week. Right? We got big games coming out. Sad about Redfall. I'm not going to talk about that on content, but man, I really wanted that game to be at least decent.
Have you played yet? Or
no, I'm not going to boot it up. I was looking forward to it so much as an Arcane person. I've talked about so much how much I enjoyed games like Dishonored, love games like Prey, love Deathloop, and how much I believe in that studio. And then the game came out, and I was reminded, I was like, I guess they also worked on Wolfenstein Youngblood, and I hated Wolfenstein Youngblood, and this seems more akin to that. But yeah, I hate seeing studios I love take L's like that, but I hope whatever they come out with next, I'm sure Arcane Leon is working on either the next Deathloop or the next core game in a Dishonored type thing. And so I'm hoping to see that. But it does clear out my month a bit to where I can just focus on Zelda and Lego 2K Racers.
Ooh,
yeah.
When's that coming out?
That's coming out at the end of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the Lego 2K. I don't even know if that's the right name for it.
Yeah.
Because the name is so
dude, you're going to have to rush through Zelda. You got to get Zelda done so that you can give Lego 2K Racers the love it deserves for the, week maybe before
Street Fighter and
so June 22nd.
I'll pull up Blessing's super fun game release calendar.
All right,
I got you.
When exactly is Diablo and when exactly is Street Fighter 6? Because I keep it in my mind just being like, they're both first week of June.
Okay, so Lego 2K Drive, which is the name of the game, that's coming out May 19th, and so I got a good amount of time there where I can focus in on it. No, I'll knock that. I'll knock out Zelda before Lego. I'm a gamer.
I'm a
gamer. But yeah, Lego 2K Drive, the big open world game that we're all looking forward to. That's going to take us weeks and weeks and weeks to play through. I'm gonna pick that up on May 19th. Hopefully, I get a review code a few weeks ahead of that one. And then Street Fighter 6 is June 2nd. Street Fighter 6 kicks off. When is Summer Game Fest? Because that actually scares me.
I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. That is wild.
That's wild because Diablo 4 is June 6th.
Fuck. Woo-wee.
Yeah,
that's going to be, we are living out here. Whether you like playing games being announced, movies, it's a time to be alive. TV shows,
what a time to be alive.
Pop it off left and right.
Heck yeah, dude.
Man. And of course, Lego 2K Racer.
Lego 2K Drive. Let's go, man.
2K Drive.
The big game of the year contender for the year. I can't wait for it.
Oh, man. But we're not talking about that today. Today, we're talking about possible hints at a Superman game. We might have our movie, Johnny Cage, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily each and every weekday. We come at you with all the video game news that you need to know. You can get it, of course, live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You can also watch it later as a video on roosterteeth.com or YouTube. If you want it as a podcast, search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Games Daily, and we'll be right there for you. The cool thing is, if you want to go above and beyond, patreon.com/kindoffunny is where you want to go, where you can support the show. You can get the show ad free. You can be a Patreon producer, just like the homie Delaney Twining. We appreciate you so very, very much. If you want to be part of the show, you got to go to kindoffunny.com/KFGD, where you can write in your questions. We might read them on the show. You can go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to correct us when we get things wrong, which is not going to happen today. Not on this Friday.
Not today.
I don't think
today.
So.
Don't say that too early, because we do have a story about Plaion.
Oh, no.
We have a big story about Plaion, and so that's going to come with a lot of your wrongs.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Plaion is under Embracer, but also Plaion also is over Deep Silver. And then somewhere in there is Koch Media. No, Koch Media was Koch Media and then turned into
They had
Plaion.
a confusing name, and now they don't.
Okay.
Where's
THQ Nordic in all this?
Remember, patreon.com/kindoffunny is where you want to go to support us to the max. A little housekeeping for you. After KFGD, we are streaming 8-player Rumble Sus, and we're giving away copies of the game in a sponsored stream. You're going to want to be there. We're going to get 8 people around this desk. I think we're going to have a great time. It's going to be fun. Y'all should check that out. And a new PS I Love You XOXO is up right now where they're talking about if PlayStation's at risk of having a Redfall. That sounds like a fun conversation that's very scary.
Yeah, it was a very fun conversation. It was another one of us talking about what the live service output is going to look like for PlayStation and if we're at risk. One of the things we talk about is Naughty Dog eventually is going to put out that multiplayer game that they've been working on, right? The Last of Us Faction, the Last of Us multiplayer game, whatever they call it. And we've seen beloved studios put out games that is different from what they're usually doing and come out and flop, right? Redfall had a lot of faith in Arcane, boom, flop. Cyberpunk had a lot of faith in CD Projekt Red, boom, fly. Like that happens.
On the other side, we've seen a lot of success stories, right?
We've seen a lot of
Guerrilla.
success stories.
They go from Resistance to Horizon.
Yep.
We've seen Tango go from all their games, Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, to Hi-Fi Rush. So,
Hey, listen, I got faith in Naughty Dog, but my faith has proven me wrong in the past. And so go check out that episode. I think it's a fantastic conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Other housekeeping stuff for you here. Like we've been saying, we're testing out something new right now. We're doing a post show in between Games Daily and the stream where you can write in on YouTube super chats and we'll answer your questions about stories from the show. You can also use your Twitch resub message to write in questions and we'll answer those as well. Mike or Andy will join us and we'll answer the questions. I love it. It's going to be a fun time for everybody. Today we're brought to you by Honey and Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. One last bit of housekeeping I want to add here is the Jedi Survivor Spoilercast with Greg and Barrett is up now. If I remember correctly, it's a bonus episode of Gamescast. So there was 2 episodes of Gamescast this week. Is that wrong?
What was the other
episode? No, this is the Gamescast.
There was 2 Xcasts. That's what it was.
Yeah.
A lot of gaming content. A lot of great gaming content this week on KindaFunny. But yeah, definitely.
Would you believe that even though earlier you said we're going to get nothing wrong, you've already gotten something majorly wrong?
It's okay. It's okay.
How dare you say that Guerrilla made Resistance? Yeah.
Yeah.
They make Killzone.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Honestly, I
Whose
get it.
problem is that? You know what I mean?
Listen.
It's fine. It's fair.
It's the same. All right. They're making the same game for a while. Killzone Resistance. Who cares? I'm just kidding. Resistance is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But still, who cares?
Yeah. My point still stands. Okay? My point still stands. But fuck my point. For now, let's begin with whatever is and will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Story number 1 is Warner Brothers Discovery boss hinting at a Superman game. This comes from Derek Strickland at Tweaktown.
I love that name for a site.
It's
one of those site names where whenever I see that name, I'm like, is this even reputable? Like, I've seen Tweaktown enough to where I know they're a reputable site, but the name would make you think different. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, like what tweaky person like?
It's a PC gamer thing, though. Tweak tuning, like all that stuff. Yeah. But it's still funny though.
Yeah.
You know? Warner Bros. Discovery boss David Zaslav teases new games that could release alongside DC feature films, including a new Superman interactive experience. In a recent Q1 23 earnings call, WB Discovery CEO David Zaslav spoke about the power and flexibility of the company's video games profile. More specifically, Zaslav discussed how its wealth of wholly owned IP franchises could encompass all forms of interactive entertainment, from feature-length films to games. Zaslav points to Hogwarts Legacy's significant billion-dollar overperformance. Oh my God, $1 billion overperformance as a key example on how the company's IP could blend across movies and games moving forward, while directly mentioning the new Superman Legacy film from James Gunn. Quote, "We have a very good gaming business with 11 different studios and a real talented capability. But the real differentiator for us as a company is that we own our IP. That IP belongs to us. We're developing it, and in some cases, we may choose to develop it with a third-party game technology company." It's fucking weird. I love the way he talks about that. It's just so like,
third-party
one of us, homie.
Technology company. All right, you CEO of big business.
We may be the only media company that owns, whether it be the DC Universe, Harry Potter, all the content that we own, Game of Thrones. That's for us to deploy. That's for us to deploy, bless.
Like he's like a military leader.
I think that's
deploy the Game of Thrones game.
I think it's particularly important strategically. If you look at Hogwarts Legacy, a big piece of the success of that game is that you go into it.
What?
You're going to get into a lot of like, oh, this is a man who doesn't play games talking about video games. So prepare yourself because that's the least of the corny shit he says.
Jacking it off. Hold on.
He's taking his jacket off.
Yeah, for audio listeners. Yeah, that was totally appropriate. If you're a player, you go into that game and you're in that world. That's kind of a new concept. Before it was gaming and it was storytelling, and now ... It's very difficult to understand what the definition of the metaverse is. You're right.
I mean,
it
he's
is
not
David Zaslav. You ain't
Yeah,
wrong.
He's not wrong about that. It's difficult to understand.
Plus,
what
I'm
metaverse
dying
is.
with this. Is the Friday shit that I needed
Yeah,
right now.
no.
The quote continues: "When we launch a product on Max or HBO, the Max, I love that they had to fucking get it in there. And when we have a game, that game belongs to us. But now there's this in betweener. It may be the next couple of years that we launch a Superman movie, and people spend more time, and there's some more economics of people just hanging out in the Superman world and universe." What are you saying? This is fucking hilarious. The fact that we own all of that is something that I think is going to be really important as we look forward. As technology develops, and given the amount of time that people spend on gaming, we don't want to be in the motion picture and long-form storytelling business and have somebody else in the business of hanging out in those worlds. Those worlds are going to be quite profitable in the years ahead.
I know. When you started the story, did you think you were going to end up here?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought there was going to be at least a couple more like clear hints at a Superman game. This is just a lost man who just owns a lot of things.
He owns a lot.
I own stuff.
That's exactly
I
it.
own stuff, and that stuff is owned by me.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, man. I own Harry Potter, and I own like Game of Thrones, and I own Superman, and I guess I own video games studios too. And so like
Video games, there's these worlds that you go into.
You can go in there
Is,
and you can go
is
to
it the
the world.
metaverse? Do we own the metaverse?
we might own
I
a
think
metaverse.
we own the metaverse,
We have the
everybody.
possibility of it. This is all so much speak from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, but I do think it is interesting that he brings up Superman, which could be him just spouting out IPs he owns and going, oh yeah, and this could work if we wanted to have people live and breathe in that world, but also brings up the question of why haven't you put out a Superman game where people can live and breathe in that world, right? Like that feels and seems like such a slam dunk, and I know we have this conversation of how do you make a Superman game where you don't feel overpowered? How do you limit down Superman without it feeling cheap? What are the studios that make a great Superman game? And I think we bring up the Telltales a lot in terms of, oh yeah, just make it narrative and choice driven and not like making an action game. But I feel like realistically, we want a Superman action game, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the Telltale thing, like that's great and that's cool.
That's a
serves
cool
an
idea.
audience and whatever. But that is very different. That to me, that a Telltale superhero game is the equivalent of comic books, superhero comic books. There are many, many, many millions of fans of comic books. There are not nearly as many fans as there are of the films, right? I think it's the same thing there, where Insomniac's Spider-Man is the equivalent to major motion picture superhero movies, right? Blockbuster ones. And people want that for Superman. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't get the vibe that it's actually going to.
Yeah, a lot of people have run with this earnings call to say that like it seems like he is hinting towards it. And I think he's just using Superman as an example. But I do think it is interesting when they are talking about their top IP. You know, he's talking about Harry Potter, which like, just sold for $1 billion, right? Like
$1 billion extra.
Yeah, like
Top of what they expect.
$1 billion overperformance in terms of the Harry Potter game, right? And we talked about recently they're making a Harry Potter Quidditch game, and it's like, oh yeah, dude, make all the Harry Potter games because you're gonna make money off of it. On the business side of things, I can understand exactly how you get there. I think that is going to translate to them being, all right, let's double down on IP. And weirdly enough, they've already been in that place. WB is weird and interesting because they are a video game publisher, and you can't say that about a lot of other like what we look at as entertainment companies that we know for comics, TV, movies, right? Like they own the IP, and like honestly, and this is me repeating some of what he's saying, and actually a lot of it is legitimate. They own the IP, and they can make the video games because they have top of their class video game developers.
Yeah.
They can make an Injustice video game with NetherRealm because NetherRealm is one of the best in the game. They can make a Wonder Woman game with Monolith. Yeah, right? Because Monolith has put out bangers in the past. Monolith also put out their Shadows of Mordor, Shadow of Mordor, right? Like, yeah, like you can do that. And if you're going through this Rolodex of big IP that you own, you get to Superman at some point, right? Like you announced a Wonder Woman game last year. Superman has to be around the corner, especially for the way they're talking about this now, talking about their biggest IP. Is that crazy to think that we're going to see a Superman game soon?
I don't think it's crazy to think. I don't think it's something that we should expect. I think for everything you said earlier, Superman is difficult. And I also think that Superman is not like the
top IP.
The top IP. I mean, it's Batman, right? And that's kind of always been the case. But I think especially in recent times, the game changer is the DCU, James Gunn's vision of what this is going to be. Does it turn around? Can it make Superman can James Gunn do for Superman what he did for Guardians of the Galaxy? And I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but Superman is like needs a rebirth at this point, right?
After watching Guardians 3 last night, it's been the most convinced that I think he's gonna fucking nail the Superman movie.
I mean, that's the thing.
Guardians 3 is so good, dude.
Right? Oh, it's so fucking good. Our interview is later today. I can't wait to talk about this movie. But like, I think that I agree with you guys. Like, I think that the DC Superman movie is going to be good. It's going to be James Gunn. I think it's going to like save Superman. Not that he fully needs saving, but I think that there's a blemish on the brand right now.
That's the thing is, I think when you talk about Superman to the mainstream, there's not really a connection in terms of this is my Superman product that I love unabashedly. There's just a lot of like mid Superman out there, unless you're like a comic book reader or if you watch the cartoons and stuff. There is, and this is me saying there's no good Superman out there, right? Because there is, but not on the movie scale. Like there are fantastic Batman movies, right? Or on the TV scale. I know there are like Superman stuff, but it doesn't resonate on that level when we talk about the big things. But I think something that's interesting you bring up is that Batman is more of a top IP when we're talking about the importance of IP. Is that true? Like, I know Batman is there in terms of quality in those bigger products, but I feel like Superman is the name when you talk about, if I went to my mom, it'd be like, name a superhero. The first one she's naming is Superman.
I think that's, maybe you're right about your mom, but I think that like the mainstream thing of like where we're at now, it's Batman. Batman's like one of the most Googled things every year. It has been for like 20 years at this point. Like Batman, I think because it's had so much success in so many different media where quality animated shows, quality live action shows, quality live action movies, multiple live action quality movies, like games that were incredible. Like Batman has worked in so many different formats. And what you're saying of like a lot of people don't have their Superman, a lot of people do, but we're talking about like
the broad, like
I
the
would say majority of people listening to the show right now have something that they're like, that's my Batman. And I'm willing to bet they don't have something that's their Superman.
I agree with that.
I don't.
Like, I don't either, right? Like the closest thing I could think of is maybe even like Supergirl on CW, and like beyond, I'm just not a big Superman person. But I would play a Superman video game if they were to put one out and nail it. And I think that's the thing is WB wants to make that a thing. They want to give people their Superman. That's why James Gunn is working on the Superman movie, and he's like revamping the DC universe, and he's leading off with the Superman legacy thing. It's because Superman is the center of it all. I think that should be the case for video games as well. Like, I think people should have a Superman video game that they're able to look at and go, oh, this was the one, in the way that we look at it at the Arkham franchise for Batman, or even the Spider-Man Insomniac franchise for Spider-Man. Superman should have one of those, because Superman is one of the most popular names, or one of the most recognizable names we have for comic book superheroes. Like, he is the icon. Why don't we have that?
Yeah.
I think the tough thing is figuring out what studio would
I mean,
on it and how you
I think the biggest answer to why don't we have that is like, it's hard. Like, it's hard in so many ways. Like, but to nail Superman, like even the Rogues Gallery, like I feel like the mainstream has a familiarity with Batman villains to the point that the Joker, I would argue, is more popular than Superman. And I feel like like that alone, and I don't even think it's close at this point. But even then, you go underneath Joker to the other villains. It's like I walk up to someone on the street and say, name Batman villains. They probably could. Yeah. Or even your mom. Name a Batman villain. She probably could. Name a Superman villain. It ain't happening.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's very fair.
But anyways, like going off just the Superman side of this, like I do think it is important to talk about here. Like this guy owns a lot of shit. All right.
He does. He does.
But we've talked so much. I mean, like looking at Warner Brothers Discovery as a whole right now and seeing all the choices that they've made with every vertical that they've had. Some things make sense. Some things seem to not make sense at all. Some things seem like bad choices. But the video game side of it has been very interesting, where we've seen some what we would call bad choices recently. Gotham Knights, everything we've seen so far. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, doesn't have the same gravitas that the Arkham games had, or even Injustice, or
it's like weird when you go through the catalog of Hogwarts Legacy came out, and it was over $1 billion overperforming, right? Like that came out, and it was a big hit. Gotham Knights flop. Multiverses was a hit and then kind of flopped, and then that's in that weird place of we'll see in a year, I guess. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, I think that was good for the most part. I think people enjoyed that.
Definitely.
Then you go Back for Blood, which I forgot was WB, but they published it. Mortal Kombat, which has been a hit, right? Mortal Kombat's been killing it. And I guess you go further back to things like Shadow of Mordor and others. It's weird because I look at WB when I think of them as a publisher, generally quality. but they do have like those
Yeah.
those hits and misses.
And that's the thing is like I think that overall their output is I would say great. Like I think that they you said it earlier. I forgot the word you used, but like they have this suite of incredibly talented developers. Like they've got the stuff. They have the IP. They have the teams. They have the publishing side, the distribution side. Everything there is like they have it. It's just a matter of can they make the gaming side work when they're also struggling to do so many other things because they own this IP, but that means they're responsible for the IP in every form. So when the IP fails in one form, it affects it in others, right? So the kind of public understanding of Superman right now and a game coming out is like based on our understanding of Superman in movies and TV shows and all that stuff. So there's just like so many moving parts to get things right. When you get it right, it's this beautiful synergy, right? And we've seen that like with Spider-Man and the MCU and all that stuff. But even that isn't foolproof. Guardians of the Galaxy, really good game.
Yeah.
Like I think that the majority of people that played it like enjoyed that game and there's a lot of good there. Didn't sell well. Despite being tied to one of the biggest properties in the world. So I feel like, and that was a very talented team that has proven themselves before, and they delivered with this one. So running a game studio like side of things is extremely difficult. And when you also need to keep all these other things in mind, I'm very worried about the future of WB games. That's
really?
the long way of getting there. Just because I feel like they need a leader at the top that's owning the game side. And it sounds like it's this guy who just likes owning stuff.
Yeah, this guy is like the general WB. I guess that's a good point actually. Does WB games must have a head, right?
They must.
So, but they just don't have a face.
Yeah.
They don't have somebody coming out and being like, they don't have like just a face coming out and be like, hey, this is WB Games. This is what our synergy looks like. We're a family, all this stuff. Because I don't think they are a family, right? Like, I don't know if their studios work and collab together the way that we think of Ubisoft or PlayStation Studios.
Exactly.
Like what Xbox is trying to get to.
That's my point is like Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft. You know all the teams are part of it. WB Games, it's kind of like...
It's like we just happen to own a bunch of
They
great
own
developers.
NetherRealm. It all comes back to owning. They own NetherRealm. They own Monolith. But they don't feel like partners. They don't feel like they're in the same family at all. It's just they happen to be working on DC games.
Could you imagine a WB Games where they did have that and they had somebody like a... I'm trying to think of who, maybe like a John Drake or somebody who's like, I understand video games. I understand how this stuff works, and I'm going to work with the WB Games studios to create like a video game, like cinematic universe might be pushing it too far, but we're creating this like holistic experience around these games, right? You might see a Superman appear in a Wonder Woman cutscene and then like end up having his own game. Like, kind of creating this family of IP, making the IP feel like more of a family of IP and pushing it in that way. That sounds like it could be incredible. Yeah. And again, they are uniquely poised. They're uniquely positioned to be able to have something like that, right? Marvel games, they go to developers that they think fit right with the product, which works for them because that's a really good way to do it.
Marvel Games has a leader.
Yeah, like, Marvel
Games has a team that's what they're doing. That's their strategy. Yeah. And like that makes so much sense. They don't own the development teams, but like that allows them to go to Insomniac, you know? But WB does own...
WB is like literally the opposite, right? Yeah. Where like they do own the IP and they own the studios and they could work together more to create something big and huge. They just don't have, it seems like, right? This is me talking as we've not ever seen a face of WB come out and really talk about it and really go, hey, this is what we're working on. They don't have somebody pulling that stuff together and trying to aim it in a direction. And I think that's how we get Gotham Knights being one game and then Hogwarts Legacy being quality.
Absolutely. There's so much of it. I love this. This is such a good conversation here. In the chat, I see all that juice saying video game development's hard enough without attempting to have cross-studio synergy with a shared universe. We're not saying shared universe. We're saying like the shared understanding of WB games, what that means. And like, not that every DC game needs to connect.
Yeah.
But that there's an expectation of quality among them in the way that we've kind of seen with Marvel games. And again, to your point earlier, they're not all going to hit. Not every Marvel Games game has been good. Like some of them, Avengers,
have been terrible.
Fucking Avengers, right? Like, but it's like at least taking the swings and all that. And to your point about John Drake, every studio should have a John Drake.
Yes.
I wish we could clone that man because I feel like games would just be better in every single way if every studio had John Drake
1000%
running shit. But it's interesting the DC side of things. Technically, James Gunn is going to be running the games. Like he said that the games are part of the DCU and he's in charge of that stuff.
Yeah,
which like,
I don't know about that, but
I know, like that's like, again too much shit that you gotta get figured out. But
are you excited for the Wonder Woman game? Like, do you think that's gonna come out and it's gonna hit?
I'm hopeful for it. I mean, we don't know anything about it, but knowing the team, knowing their previous experience, and it's Wonder Woman, like for all the shit that we've talked of, like So you're telling me that Rocksteady is making a games as a service Suicide Squad? We don't want that shit. Monolith making a Wonder Woman thing, that's like, oh yeah,
this makes sense.
This is what we want, right? So yeah, I think there's no reason not to be hopeful for this one.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not a big Wonder Woman person. I think Wonder Woman 1984 might have done the most damage ever to a character for me, my perception of them. But yeah, like similar to how we talk about, like a lot of people just don't have their Superman. I guess my Superman would be the cartoon Superman from Cartoon Network, but I digress. I don't really have my Wonder Woman either, and for the video game, because I like what Monolith does, I've enjoyed the Shadow of Mordor games so much, and I think the idea of just an action game where you're playing as Wonder Woman could be neat. I'm willing to go into it and be like, all right, let's see if this is my Wonder Woman, and if it hits, I think that's going to be a big thing. But it's also, I'm not excited about it necessarily. I think I'm excited for people who are excited about it, but I'm going into it like, all right, let's see what this is. I'm not to play it. I'm not to check it out.
Yeah, interesting stuff, man. I want to move on to story number 2 here, Bless, if you will so allow.
I'll allow it.
Okay. Plaion.
There you go. That's right.
Plaion is restructuring and layoffs are planned. This comes from James Batchelor at gamesindustry.biz. Plaion is restructuring its games publishing business, which is expected to result in layoffs. Sources close to the matter have told us a number of jobs are at stake as the publisher, which rebranded from Koch Media last year, merges multiple publishing labels into one. A slide from an internal presentation shared with us shows the company plans to drop 3 of its publishing labels, Deep Silver, Prime Matter, and Ravenscourt, and instead publish all associated titles under the Plaion brand. Sources tell us the aim is to produce fewer titles at a higher quality. Okay. Gamesindustry.biz reached out to Plaion for comment and clarification. A company representative told us the restructuring was part of simplifying our publishing operations, and that it will likely only affect around 5 to 6 jobs. The company employs over 2,000. They also emphasized that this is not an immediate change, but part of a process that will take up to 12 months. Titles may even be published under Deep Silver, Prime Matter, and Ravenscourt over the next couple of years.
So I think there's 2 sides of the story. One, that it sucks when layoffs happen, and of course our heart goes out to people who may end up losing their job from this, right? It sounds like they're only talking about this likely only affect 5 to 6 jobs, which I think in the grand scheme, when we look at how many layoffs have been happening in the games industry, is on the better side of like, okay, that's a lower number, but even still, right? Like that's still a number of people losing their jobs, and so I think that sucks. On the other hand, them consolidating some of these publishers is probably good, right? I know we joke a lot about like, what the fuck is Embracer? What the fuck is like THQ Nordic versus all these other things? Because it's weird. Embracer is a big company that is just filled with like a lot of mid, right? And I say this with love and respect, but man, like, have they not put out the hits? But you look through the operating groups, and that of course I'm not speaking for all of them, right? Like Crystal Dynamics is one of the operating groups / Eidos Montreal, and like they've had their wins. But like you go under that of Embracer, the big company, and you have the operating groups Plaion, THQ Nordic, et cetera, et cetera. When you go under Plaion, that's where things get murky in terms of who are you? like what was the? Do you know what? Can you name a Ravenscourt game?
No.
I couldn't name a Ravenscourt game. Prime Matter, I know because of a very bad press conference.
I know Prime Matter from like the logo splash before some games that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing is Prime Matter, I know because we watched that E3 showcase where we thought it was going to be Koch Media and it was going to be like Saints Row and a bunch of cool games, and it ended up being like Scars Above and like a tease of Payday 3 and then like a bunch of random other stuff. And then like Ravenscourt, I'm like, I don't even know. But yeah, like I think combining these things into one is going to do better for what they're talking about in terms of let's slow down a little bit and put out the quality. Because right now from these studios, I don't think we're seeing a lot of quality. Not many people talked about Scars Above, and that released a couple of months ago. And now that looked like a Returnal type game. I should be all about that game, but I heard no conversation about it. And I looked at one trailer and I was like, all right, it seems fine. I think it's good that they're trying to lean up because it's very confusing. I'm still of the mind though that I think Embracer should find like a way to bring these publishers even more together and consolidate more. I mean, ideally without the layoffs.
Consolidate with branding. Like that's the thing. It's like it's like figuring the shit out. There's so many ways to tackle this story, but I think that the most important thing is like what you're saying is like these layoffs need to stop, and it sucks that they're going to continue to happen here. But this one does seem different. This does seem more just like a more traditional, normal, like, hey, we're trying to right the ship thing here, as opposed to like, hey, we're taking advantage of a really shady situation in the world right now, which a lot of the other ones in recent times have felt like. They need to figure this out, because if they want these games to work, and if they want to get to quality titles, which they're saying is the goal, like at least they're saying that, you know, and whether or not that's true, we'll have to wait and see with the results in the coming years. But at least that is the word, the lip service that they're putting out there, as opposed to what we've seen from other companies that don't have any reason for what they're doing. But yeah, I'm with you that they do need to consolidate the branding to make it more clear, so that we understand when there's any of these damn showcases. I think showcases are where it comes down to. Like, we don't need a Deep Silver showcase and a Prime Matter showcase and a Ravenscourt showcase and an Embracer showcase. And
it's ridiculous. Like, we don't need all of that.
Get it so that we all understand. Like, allow us to be excited about these things. Or it's like, hey, we're going to see a lot of these mid games, but there might be one that's higher than mid, and that's the point.
That's the point of this. Like, if I go, I'm on the Prime Matter website right now, and I'm looking at their list of games. And if I'm going to read to you some of these games, right? They got Payday 3, which is cool. Like, people like Payday a lot, and so hopefully that comes out and is another one of those that is able to stick with people. They got Crossfire Legion, Dolmen, Motto Anomalies, Encased, Gungrave Gore. Remember the Gungrave Gore?
No.
The Last Ori Crew, Scars Above, The Chant, Echoes of the End, Mountain Blade 3, Bannerlord. They have a working title. Well, I don't know why you would list it on your website. The New Painkiller, Phoenix Point, Iron Harvest, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Outward, Wasteland 3, and then System Shock.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Those are some games.
Those are
games.
Those are games. You know what, Bless? You're right.
Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
Listen.
Yeah.
Prime Matter, we put out games.
Play on, everybody.
Yeah.
Play on.
I hope System Shock is good. I know people are excited about that one.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, everybody. Check out patreon.com/KindaFunny to get the show ad-free. But for everyone else, here's some ads. Shout out to Honey for sponsoring this episode. Honey is the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past, and we all know there's nothing better than the feeling of saving money. Honey's the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Here's how it works. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds as the Honey guide dances. It searches for coupons it can find for the site, and if it finds a working coupon, you will watch the prices drop. We here at Kinda Funny have been using Honey for years, and it has literally saved us thousands on tech, costumes, food, you name it. Honestly, I just love how easy it is to set, forget, and save. Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it also works on your iPhone. You just activate it on Safari on your phone, save on the go. And if you don't already have Honey, you can be straight up missing out. By getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. You can get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/kindafunny. That's joinhoney.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You out there. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at Kinda Funny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. ROCKETMONEY.com/kindafunny. Some breaking news, everybody. Nintendo tweeted, get ready for Legend of Zelda fans. We will be hosting a special live stream leading up to the Nintendo New York City midnight launch of Tears of the Kingdom. You can tune in on May 11th. Alfredo Diaz's birthday, starting at 6:45 p.m. PT, 9:45 Eastern, to watch Nintendo Treehouse live and more.
Really quick, I just want to shout out your breaking news little jingle. It sounds like the beginning of the Cowboy Bebop theme song.
Yeah,
I
like that.
Call.
What a freaking slap, man!
That right there is a slap.
Let's go.
Sure.
But yeah, cool. I think that's just gonna be like a more fun like launch event thing. I don't think there's gonna be any news from it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
This is one of the times where like I wish I could be there for the midnight launch, right? Like be in New York, be at Nintendo, Nintendo store, Nintendo World. Like
have you been there?
To the Nintendo store in New York once. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I still gotta go to Super Mario World though in LA. One of these days I'll go. But yeah, that's very exciting. I think it makes sense for them to do this, and I'm hoping like I'm hoping this is like a special time. I'm hoping we all come together and we're like, oh man, a video game we've been waiting years and years and years for. It's finally come out. Let's all bond. Let's all have a good time. I want that energy for this, and so. Go get him, Nintendo.
Go get him, Nintendo. Story number 3, Mortal Kombat 2, the movie, may have found its Johnny Cage. This comes from Alex Stedman at IGN. Mortal Kombat 2 is closing in on its Johnny Cage. Carl Urban is in final negotiations to play the iconic game character in the sequel to 2021's Mortal Kombat. A source close to the production confirms to IGN. The Wrap first broke the news. For his part, Urban's no stranger to massive franchises. He's currently starring in Prime Video's superhero satire The Boys, which wrapped production on season 4 last month. Hell yes.
That's good.
And previously appeared in Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Star Trek movies, and Chronicles of Riddick series, and Thor Ragnarok. Really fucking cool. I feel like The Miz was the obvious answer, and they were kind of like pushing for it. Yeah, they robbed The
Miz, but I do like Carl Urban. So.
That's my thing. I can't be mad at my boy.
It's a good casting.
Yeah,
it's a good casting. I'm excited to hopefully see him play like a different character than we see him play in the. Like I feel like that is when I think of Carl Urban, I think of his boys character specifically, and I feel like I usually see him in that kind of role. I didn't watch Lord of the Rings, and I never will. And so I'm used to.
Have you watched Star Trek?
No.
Okay, well you should. And he's not that character at all.
Oh, is he not?
No. God, he's so good.
I just associate him
so good
with just that boy's character. That's all I know of Carl Urban. I'm sure I've seen him in something else, but like
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and I feel like he's kind of that character too in Thor Ragnarok.
He's kind of more like a bumbling idiot guy with guns.
Kind of
but
isn't that the same thing as the boys? He's a bumbling idiot.
No, he's not an idiot at all. He's a rough, tough badass
who's really depressed and an alcoholic. You know, like
he's an idiot. In both
you got Star Trek 2009. I'm not saying watch all of them. Just the first movie. I think you're gonna love it.
But also Star Trek Beyond also kicks ass.
Yeah, I'm not trying to oversell. I'm just saying. I think we can get him on one. Anyway, Carl Urban's a fucking boss.
Yeah,
I'd love him as this.
I like imagining him in this role as like the Hollywood, with sunglasses on. I'm better than everybody, but also I'm kicking ass. I want to see him. I pull out some martial arts. I want to see Carl Urban really like do the punches and kicks.
Oh fuck! Yeah,
I want him to see him do like one of those jump kicks.
Well, see, that's why I think the Miz would have been so good.
Yeah,
because the Miz just looks right for the part, and he moves right. Like and he has just that. He is Hollywood, man. Like it totally works. But yeah, I'm excited for Carl Urban being a part of this movie because I feel like the Mortal Kombat movies need a bit more like star power. Because the last one, fun movie, but like not good. And I think the biggest issue with the film was the fact that its main character was like a fucking original creation.
1000%.
Was lame as shit. And
it felt like a character creator character.
Yeah, exactly.
What was his name? Cole Young?
Oh my, Cole something or other.
Yeah.
But it was not entertaining.
No.
I'm
hoping that
Batman showed up on a reality show called Bling Empire. He started dating.
Oh, I've heard of Bling Empire.
Yeah, he dated one of them for a while. I don't know if they're still together. I hope so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Johnny Cage is like the main character of this one. Like just act like Cole Young didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Dude.
Like I'd be so down for that.
Oh my god. Pull a Mortal Kombat Deception. Movie starts off. Cole Young is dead.
Dude. And then he comes back as zombie Cole Young.
Fine. If they must.
If they do that, I'd be down for it. Yeah.
Anyway, excited about this. We'll see where it goes. But hey man, Carl Urban, man. Put him in everything. He's a fucking gem.
He seems cool.
Story number 4. Riot Games will compensate 1,548 women for gender discrimination. This comes from Anthony Wood at IGN. Over 1,500 Riot Games and hundreds of Activision Blizzard workers are receiving compensation after the companies settled lawsuits for gender discrimination, workplace harassment, and other serious grievances. As reported by Axios, the new details come by way of a court filing by Rust Consulting, which managed the settlement process on behalf of the claimants. Back in 2021, Riot Games settled a class action gender discrimination lawsuit, agreeing to pay former and current workers compensation from a pool of $100 million. According to the new filing, each of the over 1,500 claimants will receive an initial payment ranging from $2,500 to $5,000, with additional damages up to a cap of $40,000 also paid out, depending on whether the worker was a contractor or full-time staff and the length of time spent at the company. 7 individuals opted out of the settlement. The legal action against Riot Games began in 2018 when 2 employees, 1 current and 1 former, sued the company following the release of a damning investigative report by Kotaku, which laid bare the culture of sexual discrimination and harassment that had taken root at the company. The plaintiffs also sought damages for breaches relating to the California Equal Pay Act. Treat people right. Don't get to the point where you need to get sued for being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm glad that these workers are getting their money. Love to see that. This, of course, has been an ongoing story for years and years. I feel like Riot was one of the first of like the major. Hey, this workplace sucks for a certain group of people working here, right? Like, there's a lot of discrimination against women, and the work environment here is toxic and very masculine in terms of what they're pushing and what the work culture is here, and we need to fix this. Riot is like the earliest one I can remember in terms of like it coming out in a big magnitude and like it being part of that, of like the current wave we see of people calling out workplaces and trying to fight for better work conditions and all that. And so it's nice to see this coming down on Riot having to pay up and actually like make good on paying these workers. I think that's awesome. I also do want to give a compliment to Kotaku here, right? Because as this article mentions, there was a damning investigative report from Kotaku about the sexual discrimination and harassment taking place at the company, and that's why we have to value outlets like Kotaku. Like, I've seen Kotaku getting shit for the last week for various reasons, and like, you know, I stand on certain places on what that conversation is.
To jump in real quick here,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remind people, Kotaku is not one person. It is many people.
Yes.
So you cannot like what one person did and like what someone else did and all of that. That's how this was.
1,000%. They're an outlet made up of many different people. And like, you might have certain opinions about that outlet, but I think one thing that I will always respect Kotaku for is the fact that they're able to come out and do actual real journalism work and it have an impact like this, where Riot's exposed for the work culture, and then people get compensated, and people are able to be treated better because the company culture has to change. That is the value of an outlet like Kotaku, and so I hope they keep doing their thing. I hope they keep publishing reports like this, and I hope that big companies that have all the money in the world stop mistreating their workers. Go get them.
Go get them. Story number 5, Destiny 2 is raising the price of its season pass. This comes from Travis Northup at IGN. On its blog today, Destiny 2 creator Bungie announced a price increase for its standalone season passes, which grant players access to limited time activities and story content every 3 months. Going forward, Bungie will ask Destiny 2 players to pay 20% more each season, up from $10 to $12 per season. Bungie simultaneously announced it will charge 10% more for its season pass rank bonus. Did they really say it in percentages? Because that's fucking weird. For its season pass rank bundles, which speed up the process of maxing out each season's loot-filled progress bar. This increase will see the plus 10 ranks bundle go from $20 to $22. While this will impact anyone who has been buying season passes in Destiny a la carte, the price increase does not affect those who already bought the full year of seasonal access via the deluxe version of Destiny 2 Lightfall, at least not until the next major expansion currently slated for next year, The Final Shape.
The Final Shape.
The Final Shape.
They're running out of names for expansions. The Final Shape. That's what you came up with? Like, Lightfall was so cool. Like, the Forsaken, that's a cool one. The Final Shape.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to create a new one?
I feel like the Final Shape, the logo is going to look like the Inside Out logo from Pixar, just like the light.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I fucked that up. But
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying, though. You get what I'm saying. All right, everybody? Somebody Photoshop it. It'll make more sense. All right.
Cool. Yeah,
Yes.
I got nothing to say about this because I'm not a big Destiny person, but also like things getting more expensive. Video games have gotten more expensive. Destiny is, in a way, free to play now, right? I know you're paying for expansions, but they got to make their money somehow. And like a $2 increase from $10 to $12, and like for the other thing, right, for going from $20 to $22 for the bundle, that doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that's the thing is like this, like it's a business. Games cost money. They need to make money to be made and all of that. So I totally get it. I do think that like the number seems very nominal. Like this seems like it's not really like a big enough shift to bring that much to them. But I'm sure that they have bean counters that figured it out that is what they need to do. And they're like, we're not trying to overcharge for this. We're trying to like just get what we need. So
I mean, if you have 1 million players that are buying this season pass every season.
Mm-hmm.
That's $2 million more you're making per season.
Yeah.
$8 million by the end of the year. If there's 4 seasons in a year. Is that how Destiny seasons work? I don't know how that works.
They're saying 3 here, right? Content every 3 months.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, 3, that's 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So they're making that money.
The math be mathin'.
The math be mathin', Tim. I don't know what to tell you. Happy Friday. It's Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday, everybody. You know what I do know what to tell you, Bless?
What's that?
What the fuck's coming to mom and grop shops today? But where would I look if I wanted to tell you that?
You would look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
Ooh, kind of a jazzy vibe there.
Yeah, that was
It's
fun.
always been jazz.
That was a good jazz.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, yesterday when they were doing the May the 4th stream, which was hilarious, everyone should go check that out, youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. And he kept trying to play the like Cantina music and stuff. And he was doing the Andy thing where like
He was trying to play jizz.
yeah, and he got it like maybe 60% of the way. And my brother fucking just walks and go, "Oh, is that jizz music?" And like, Cool
I mean,
Greg.
he nailed it. Like
he
that's
fucking
what,
nailed
that's what
it.
they
But
call
Cool
it.
Greg asking if it's the jizz music is just fucking. It sends me, everybody.
Listen,
Hilarious.
I know the jizz music, and that's not it. the jizz music is like it's what? It's the I don't know the jingle, the Pornhub jingle. Is what I was gonna do. I was gonna hum that.
You don't know it.
I don't know what off
He
the top.
doesn't know it. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I was gonna sing it, but like what came to mind was the KFGD like
version of it.
Yeah. Wait, are those similar? Am I crazy? Or are those like similar tunes? Like
For April Fool's last or 2 years ago, we did a Pornhub kind of funny jingle, which is I think what where we announced we're gonna do Pornhub and review. We're gonna rank, review, and recap every Pornhub video.
We should do that.
Out today, Hogwarts Legacy on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Demon Skin. Ew. On PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Duru, a game about mole rats and depression. On PC. And then Marvel Spider-Man Remastered Standalone Edition on PS5.
Did you ever learn the naked mole rap from Kim Possible?
You know,
You're too old for that, weren't you?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I feel like it's one of those things. If I had the first line or so, it would just come back to me.
Yo,
in
listen
my
up.
mind.
That's the name. That's
No.
the first word.
Yeah,
First
keep going.
line. Yo, listen up. It's a holler for a Ron. Naked mole rap is the name of the song.
You know what?
Here's
No.
the story.
I know the
really?
song, but I know the
man.
song. I don't know the words though. Keep going though.
You know
Sorry,
what?
hold on.
You
Give
know
him
what?
the one, and then go.
I don't know all the words, but you
You're
know
gonna
what?
try right now.
You know what the truth is? How Ron met Rufus. Never seen a cat bark. Never seen a puppy. Never seen a puppy. Fuck. Never seen a cat bark. Never seen a puppy purr. My dad's allergic to every kind of fur. So he searched up hairy pets on the internet. Saw a JPEG of a pink thing. Gonna need sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's the first verse. That's the whole first verse. I'm not gonna do the rest.
I love it
Yeah.
though. That is. Congratulations.
Thank
everybody.
you.
You all got to see that. Okay.
Thank you. I had to dig deep into the memory chambers for that one.
That was fantastic.
That had a dope beat too. We had that on CD.
Mhm.
Great
See,
times.
from back in my day, we had the Rugrats rat. Which
How'd that
starts-
go?
I was like, Tommy, Chucky, feeling little Susie. Ha, 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 ha. It's the Rugrats from under the mat. It's the Rugrats. It's the
That
Rugrats.
also went hard.
Yeah, it was so good.
What was that from? Like an episode?
It was like one of those weird, like, once the episode ends, it would be like
Oh, like an interstitial.
a little
between
interstitial thing. And then they would just play it in
episodes.
between every commercial on Nickelodeon for years.
Can you
I
do
don't
the Pokey
remember
rap?
The Poke Rat?
Yeah.
Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata,
I don't know why I
Pharaoh,
asked. I don't know-
King,
why did I
Jolteon,
ask?
Dragonite, Gastly,
Of course you can.
Porygon, Poliwrath, Butterfree. I can keep going, but
There's
I'm not
no reason
going
why.
to.
Like I shouldn't have asked that. I already know.
You shouldn't
I already
ask
know.
that. New dates for you: Harmony, The Fall, or Reverie. Yeah, Fall or Reverie, not of Reverie.
I think it was supposed to be of Reverie, and this is a typo from where
Harmony,
I
The Fall of Reverie is coming June 8th on Switch and PC, and June 22nd on Xbox Series and PlayStation 5.
That's the really interesting looking Don't Nod game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that looks a bit more like 2D art style, but still doing their narrative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that at the Xbox showcase last year, right?
Maybe I feel like we saw it more recently. It might have been at a Nintendo Indie thing. This is a KindaFunny.com/You're
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw this one at the showcase. But
Barrett, by the way, you're gonna have to do the DK rap at some point during this episode.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of rap back then.
yeah, there was the 90s, man.
Dude.
Crazy time. And I guess early 2000s for Kim Possible. Which
Fuck that.
how it's Will Friedle doing that rap.
Yeah.
It's Eric Matthews from Boy Meets
Yeah.
World.
And like you listen to that rap and you're like, yep, that's
Yep,
Eric Matthews. That's
Eric
him. That's his
Matthews.
voice.
Oh man, that's great. And then Bug Snacks coming to iOS, iPad OS, and TV OS this summer. All of the Apple devices. DJBradChill writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, saying, "What's good, guys? I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I have some thoughts brewing about Phil's comments from the XCast addressing the fact that great games won't dramatically shift the console market in Xbox's favor. Keyword here that a lot of people are missing is dramatically. I see both sides of the coin that Phil alludes to and which you all have discussed in length, but a real-world analog has come to mind, the Wii U. The Wii U had some legitimate high-quality first-party games in its lineup and was seen as a complete failure in many ways, but many of those games found Mondo success when they were ported to Switch. I feel like that may be a good example of great games not always carrying the influence we expect them to, and more that general opinion of the platform itself goes a long way for success. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Thankful for you guys, and congratulations to the XCast for a breakout episode that's getting so much love." Yeah, just starting there real quick. Thank you all for showing so much love to this episode of XCast. It's been so freaking cool to see. We were just talking, we had our production meeting today, and currently it's over 200,000 views. It was trending number 5 on all of YouTube yesterday.
Let's go.
We got 2,000 new subscribers on YouTube. That's huge for us. So all of that stuff is incredibly cool, and it's all because the incredible work that everyone here does. But extra shout out to Mike, to Barrett, to Gary, to Paris, everyone that was part of that XCast, doing such a good job that Phil and the Xbox team wanted to come to us. Yep. I think that's like a very important thing. It's not just like people always ask, like, why don't you guys just get Nintendo? Why don't you get PlayStation? Trust me, we would. Like Xbox comes to us because they like us and they like the XCast and they know that they understand the work we put in and they know the job that we're going to do. So love that, and it's because of your support that we get to do things like that and we get these opportunities. Now that that's all over, addressing this, I do think that anytime somebody says something, you can take what you want from it, and then you can like add as much weight to any single statement as you personally want to prove the point that you're trying to make. Him talking about software, like the quality of the software dramatically changing the amount of systems sold. I think from listening to the XCast, my takeaway from it was he was saying that no matter what they do at this point, they're not going to catch up to the Switch or PlayStation 5, which I think is completely true.
I think that's valid, yeah.
Yeah. But I also do think that if there were more higher quality games, it would sell more hardware. But Phil's not saying that it won't sell more. He's saying dramatic to the point of catching up to where the other guys are, which I just think is actually impossible at that point.
Yeah, like I think you got to look at these things with the context of the conversation they're having. And a lot of people on the internet were taking that out of context in terms of, Phil's saying that they don't need that, like great games won't sell Xboxes. It's like, no, that's not what he's saying. He's talking about being in third place, which alone, him mentioning that was one of the many things listening to the interview that blew my mind. Like I was sitting out there watching it live, right, as it was happening. It was me, Roger, Greg, and Joey. And there's so many moments where like me and Roger just like looked at each other like, did he just say that? Oh my god. And like when Phil addressed Xbox as being like, yeah, it's tough when you're the guys in third place and like, you know, trying to talk about how to move and shift things. And immediately I looked at Roger and we're like, dude, like I don't think I've ever heard a company come out like that and be like, yeah, we're in third place. Like we're not one of the lead manufacturers in this industry right now. One, that was brutally honest, but then also, following up within that context of that conversation, talking about how we can put out great games. People aren't going to sell their PS5s to get Xboxes, right? People are going to get Xboxes, and I think that's the part where I don't disagree with Phil necessarily, but I think it is a valid strategy to go, we're going to put out top tier first party games and have that be a core part of the strategy and try to sell as much Xboxes as possible and have that be our key to success. I think that is a very valid way to be successful. I think there's a lot of merit and value in that. But he specifically in that moment was talking about shifting the tides in terms of becoming or surpassing Nintendo and PlayStation. And like that's not going to happen. And I think that was very fascinating in terms of enlightening the fact of, hey, this is why Game Pass is part of our core strategy. He didn't say that, but that was my read on it. I assume that's many people's read on it, right? Of, hey, the PS4, Xbox One generation was the worst generation to lose because people are locked in now. I knew I was gonna buy a PS5 because I have so many games from PS4 and I can carry that library over. Yeah, I'm sure that's true for a majority of people out there, and that's just how things are gonna be from now going on forward. Yeah, you want to give people Game Pass. You want to give people this backlog of library so that when they come into your platform, they don't feel like they're starting from a new game. They don't feel like they're cutting themselves off from this thing that they've built. I think that is a very I think that thought coming from Phil makes sense. It helped me like visualize, oh, this is why Xbox is the way it is. This is why they're moving the way they're moving. This is why they're trying to make it cloud and Game Pass and everything about their ecosystem. Their business, right? Because that's the only way that they can shift tide right now is by going, here are all the reasons you can enter the ecosystem that aren't just the games. Like the games are important. And like, I don't think Phil would ever come out and be like, great games aren't important. Like that's not what he's saying.
That's not what he's saying at all.
Yeah.
And, like going back to this Wii U thing, which I do think there's a lot of interesting parallels, but I think that those parallels continue to where we're at here. You talking about Game Pass and all that being their strategy. I feel like it is the hardware or the experience itself applied to the rollout of the quality games or the lack of quality games that's really going to affect things one way or another. You look at the Wii U, I loved my Wii U. I loved the games that I had on it. I understand why other people didn't like the Wii U, but everyone knows now how great those Wii U games were because everyone played them on Switch. Why did that work? Because people wanted to play the Switch. The Switch worked. The concept worked. People bought into it and made sense. The concept of the Wii U did not make sense. When the Wii came out, people played tennis for the first time. They got it. They're like, this is the promise, and it is being delivered to us. We understand it and get it. The Wii U never had that moment. Nintendo Land was nifty. It was fine. It was cool. I enjoyed it a lot. But it wasn't this like experience that's like, oh, games from now on are going to have this. The DS is another good example. The first time that you played a game that was like, to this day, there are games you can only play on DS because they were made for that format and for that system. And that made so much sense. It sold super well, had such an amazing library of games. The Wii U, its titles weren't ever that special for what the Wii U was offering. Yeah. And people didn't want to play with those weird controllers or didn't want to buy this other system without the promise of we're going to get something extra special here. Then the Switch comes out. The promise was you can take it on the go or you can dock it. It fucking worked. And then they're like, cool, we can now, because the games didn't have anything special tied to the Wii U, we can easily port them over here, right? And I think that that's where you see the success of all that stuff. But it is proof that like just the games isn't enough. But I don't think anyone's saying that. It's the games plus the hardware, or these days software, cloud, whatever you want to call it, like where you're playing the games that matters. In addition to, it's the strategy plus the game's quality plus the rollout plan, the scheduling of that. You can't just like not have great games for a couple of years and then at the end of the life cycle, here's some great games. That's not how it works, right? Like things get messy. Like then you look, most people don't think of Breath of the Wild as a Wii U game. No, even though it was on Wii U.
Yeah,
you know.
That's my thing is, I think when we talk about the Wii U library, I don't think the Wii U library is objectively fantastic. I think it is person.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's fine.
Dude, no, it's not. Think about it.
There's no 3D Mario or
3D. Yes, there is. Mario 3D World.
I don't count.
What do you mean that doesn't count?
I would play any other 3D Mario aside from Sunshine over 3D World.
So all four of them? We're talking about... Cool, great. We
like,
have this.
Listen, I would if they put out a Galaxy 3 on the Wii U, that would actually make me consider buying a Wii U for Galaxy 3. Like Mario 3D World is like just another. It felt like this is gonna sound like hate towards Mario 3D World. I really do enjoy Mario 3D World.
Fantastic Mario game. Man.
It's not a system seller for me though. Like a Mario Galaxy 3 or a Mario Odyssey is a system seller. Mario 3D World was a dope Mario game on a Nintendo platform. Every Nintendo platform has dope Mario games on it.
I'm almost positive that Mario 3D World sold more, but
I mean, sure,
maybe not like Wii U, but
for me, sales ability isn't the same as like selling a platform, right? Like you can have a lot of sales and not sell the console. But also like same with Zelda. I know Breath of the Wild technically was on the Wii U. It was also on the Switch, and so why would I buy a Wii U for Breath of the Wild, right? Like I think missing out on those two core things that you've gotten on every Nintendo platform lessens that library quite a bit. And then like what would you say are the best games on the Wii U? Smash Brothers,
Mario Kart,
and Mario Kart was early on too.
Yeah, I mean, think of the Switch library, right?
But like that's every other Nintendo platform. Like if we're gonna call
versions.
But they're not anymore.
But I mean,
but at the time,
yeah, like
I don't know. Like for me, I think you need way more than that.
Now in context, when we're thinking about what was going on at like 10 years ago.
Yeah, PS3 didn't have any hits because,
PS4
Last
had
of
so
Us
many.
Remakes better.
Yeah, but like PS3 had more like bangers though, right? Like I think we're talking about the Wii U. You gotta have if
PS3 had more bangers than the Wii U.
Yes.
I mean, my thing is, I don't think that is like definitively true.
It is definitively true.
I think at the end of the day, PS3 wins. I want that clear. I'm not making the argument that Wii U wins. I'm just saying I don't think that it's like Oh, they're in completely different leagues.
It's a Nintendo platform where like we're like, oh yeah, the best games were Smash and 3D World. I forget the other game that we said.
Yeah, 3D World,
Smash,
Mario
3D
Kart,
World,
3D
and Mario
World.
Kart.
Also,
Xenoblade.
new Super Mario Brothers.
That's something that every
Mario
Nintendo
Kart
platform
8.
has.
But that's what Nintendo platforms are. They play Nintendo games.
Yeah.
What do PlayStation games do? They play PlayStation games.
I guess for me, I look at the Switch and I even look at like I look at other Nintendo platforms as having way more than that, right? Like the Super Nintendo had an iconic Zelda game that was exclusive
Tropical
to it, right?
Freeze.
That had Super Mario World. It was, okay, cool.
Shovel
Like-
Knight at first. Too.
Okay, cool.
Tropical
he says.
Freeze.
One of the greatest 2D platformers ever of all time across any platform.
All right, was it
Tim,
a system
let's tweet it out
seller?
again. What was your Wii U versus Vita thing, right?
Yeah. Who won that argument, by the way? This
You did.
motherfucker.
Let's
Just
do
say
it
it.
again.
So, like,
Let's-
if
Roger, get it on
if
the socials.
somebody-
Who had the better software lineup, the Wii U or the PS3?
If somebody came to you and they're like, you can choose only one Nintendo software library for a platform, right? Like you like here are all these Nintendo consoles. You can only play one library.
I'm taking Wii U over Wii. I'm telling you right now.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll put the Wii over the Wii U.
Yeah. I mean, name the games.
For the Wii,
Yeah.
Smash Brawl, Mario Kart, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Need I go on? New Super Mario
I mean,
Brothers.
my thing is, like, I think that a lot of the games you named, the Wii U versions are better.
Yeah,
Mario
like Twilight
Kart, way
Princess.
better than Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah,
way,
and like
way, way
Twilight
better.
Princess, the definitive version for a while was the
GameCube.
GameCube version, and then you could play that version essentially on Wii U. Skyward Sword is fine, very overhyped at the time of release. And then
Wind
Wii
Waker
U
HD,
also
baby.
got Wind Waker HD, which the Switch doesn't even have still.
Yeah, I also got Wii Sports. I didn't even name Wii Sports. That's a great one. Am I crazy, Andy? Am I insane here?
I don't know. Put up the poll. I don't even know what the
Wii U
poll
library
is.
was fine, is what I'm saying.
Nintendo makes
Not
bangers. That's what
fantastic.
I'm saying. It doesn't matter what fucking generation. Every single one is a W, baby. For the games. I don't even know what the fuck I am anymore. You're wrong. That's where we
Yeah.
are.
Wait, you're saying I'm wrong, or I'm kind of thinking the concept you're
Let's see
wrong?
what people have to say here. KindaFunny.com/you're wrong. I was already corrected here, but I said Gorilla made Resistance. They made Killzone. That is correct.
Nano says Carl Urban is also in Lord of the Rings. Nano, I swear to God, Nano.
Swear to God, Nano. GK Sam 10 says David Haddad is the current president of WB Interactive Entertainment. He stuck around despite most of the other Warner leadership being cleared out after the Discovery deal, which is interesting. Borzen00 says the final shape is called that because we're going to discover the final shape of the universe. Okay.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah. And then Nano says that Harmony, the Fall of Reverie was revealed at the Nintendo Showcase, not the Xbox Showcase last year. What am I thinking about? There was the Xbox Showcase that trailer we saw there didn't give me enough, but where it was the Limbo team, right? Is that what we were talking about?
No,
Okay.
this was Donut. So like what?
Okay, that's
Are
where
you,
I got
are you thinking of
messed up.
Cocoon?
I don't know, but because remember there was like 2 Limbo type games from the team.
Yeah, there was the one that came out in November.
You played it.
I played it and reviewed it.
Fuck. Harrow Fields. Heroin.
What was that game called? It's something Field. It's the name of a town. It's the name of the
Yeah.
town.
Somerville.
Somerville. There we go. Yeah. And then there was the other one that I thought it was
Cocoon.
this. Cocoon. Okay, cool.
Cocoon?
Cocoon? Cocoon? What?
Cocoon.
Cocoon. Oh, just like cocoon.
Yeah, it's a cocoon. Yeah.
Jesus.
Cocoon.
What a fucking Friday, everybody. And we're just starting, man. We're about to head
And
out.
also, of all the people that are in the chat talking about, oh man, Blessing's wrong, Blessing's bad take. Why didn't you buy a fucking Wii U? It didn't sell because the library was mid.
That's not it. No,
was
that's
mid.
not. No.
It was a mid
Did you listen to what I
library.
said this entire time? The Wii U didn't sell because nobody wanted the hardware and the promise was never sold.
It was
That's
both.
why it didn't
It was
sell.
both.
No, it's not because
not.
the library
Alright.
wasn't
Sure.
there. It's not
Sure.
that at all.
All the Nintendo Directs during that period were
The
all so
library
excited
was
for him.
continuously great. It was the hardware that got in the way.
Was
It
that not the
too-
era of Nintendo Directs where every Nintendo Direct were like, oh, this is boring. This is not it.
Is that different than now? That's always, man. People just fucking hate. They hate everything.
All right.
Next week's host, we have me and Greg on Monday, and then fucking finally, unless it gets taken from me, Tuesday, me and Lucy James will be hosting for the first time. Wednesday, Blessing and Greg. Thursday, Blessing and me. Friday, me and Blessing. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Remember, if we're watching live right now, Andy's about to join us. We're about to answer all of your super chats. So go to youtube.com/kindafunnygames to get all them things prepped. Write in your thoughts. It doesn't even need to be a question. If you just want to make a statement to us about your thoughts on the Vita, the Wii, the Wii U, the fucking, I don't even give a shit.
He said the Wii U library is better than the PS3 library.
I did not say that.
He said it was an argument, though. He said it was debatable.
No.
What did you say? What did you say?
You did say it was.
I'm saying that it's not like fucking like, oh my God, there's not a fucking chance in hell. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's not like the Wii U. My point is the Wii U library is fucking
GTA
fantastic.
5.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're counting third-party games now?
Congratulations.
Okay, well, yes, I am, because there's no third-party games on the Wii U.
That's
Zombie
really not true.
Okay,
Zombie!
sorry, I forgot about Assassin's Creed 3 and the Mass Effect game that had been out forever.
Arkham City.
I am including third-party
Lego
games in
City
this.
Undercover. And Pikmin.
This is off the rails. This is so off the rails.
All right, we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna keep this
How many of y'all beat
energy
Zombie
going,
U?
though, okay? With all the YouTube super chats, and then we're gonna do the fun stream, and then we're gonna do more streams, and then we're gonna do in review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for Patreon.com/kindafunny supporters. I love you all. I'm feeling a little lightheaded. Let us know in the comments below.
We're gonna yell more in this post. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna yell.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna have fun. But until next time, I love you all. It's been our pleasure to serve you. And Andy Cortez joins.
Like, come on, man. BioShock, Mass Effect 2 and 3. You know what I'm talking about, Andy?
I do know.
Like these, I guess.
Why is there confetti?
There's
falling?
confetti since.
I guess we
the
used to
first
have
day.
Mass
It'll
Effect.
never go
Oh,
away.
Oh yeah, there it is up there.
There's a whole bunch.
Welcome in, everybody. Thank you, cool Greg.
The Uncharted trilogy.
welcome
Heavy
in.
Rain.
Oh, bless you! Don't even stand by the original Uncharted.
I
trilogy.
think they're great. I just think, Uncharted 4 is way better, leaps and bounds. But like the Uncharted trilogy is still like a great grouping of games.
It's not a really fantastic name.
Get your super chats in so you can talk some shit to either Blessing or Greg. or Blessing or Tim.
Or Greg, fuck it.
I'm gonna root for whoever's
Losing.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna root for whoever's winning and right. Welcome in, everybody. It's Friday. After this, we're going to be doing a sponsor stream. We're going to be playing a game called Rumble Sus.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
30 minutes.
You're crazy. You're crazy, man.
Little quick 30-minute stream, and then we will be hopping into Valheim because we found a new survival game.
Ooh.
We're gonna be playing Valheim.
Wait. Did I not?
Well, no. It's for us.
Wait, haven't
We're
you
all-
been playing it?
No.
I could have sworn y'all played that before.
No.
I swear to God, Valheim's on the calendar every week.
Okay, that's Kevin. That's Kevin trying to force his ideas onto us.
Oh.
This is the first time we will all be playing Valheim together after Mike gave up on Icarus. Get your super chats in, everybody, so we can talk to you here. Thank you for being here for this Q&A session for Kind of Funny Games Daily. Blessing, can you grab my juvie?
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So, thank you. I left it there because I didn't want there was too much stuff to hold on the way in.
And I told you,
I'm tied up in cables.
I pointed to the table over there because there's a table back there. I was like, just put it over there.
No, but it's too many hands, too many things.
Too
to
many
hold,
hands.
Barrett.
We're not
You don't get
Octodad,
it, dude.
We're not Octodad. A
You don't
PS4
get it.
game.
Yeah.
Better than 3.
$2 super chat from Omega/Buster says, "Do you think Game Pass day and date model should change?"
No. I think it's great.
No, says Timothy.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Why would it?
Yeah, I don't really know what the drawbacks and benefits would be, unless they're trying. Maybe they're talking about like delaying stuff.
Maybe they're making the argument of like the game. A lot of people seem to think that because of the Game Pass model, games aren't coming out as quality because when you put something directly on there, you're not looking to sell 1 billion copies, and so who cares if it's a 10 out of 10 game or a 7 out of 10 game? But I don't think there's a correlation. I'm not somebody who subscribes to that.
I'm with you there. $5 super chat from Bear King, who says, "How was the blue milk made? I just got out of work and I'm glad to see you all are still live." That was from yesterday. The blue milk was almond milk with blue food coloring, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that was. That was Kevin really doing a lot of work with the almond milk over there.
What a statement.
We had a wild stream yesterday. I think the funniest thing was a lot of new eyes on Kind of Funny after that incredible X-Cast with Phil Spencer. Hey, let's go check out what these guys are doing now. Like, they're live right now. What are they doing? and it's Nick shirtless as Kylo Ren
Yeah.
with not a Kylo Ren wig. He's wearing the mullet wig that Barrett wears as a Bash brother. And yeah, it was just absolute insanity yesterday.
Great job to everybody.
Thanks for
involved.
getting your super chats in, everybody. Tatman to the rescue with a $2 super chat says PSP Go greater than Wii U.
PSP Go?
Fuck you.
I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about the PSP Go, but I mean, that is also factually incorrect.
I just want to see the Sony hardware team take another shot at a handheld. Because like anytime they do, it's always like so design first and like so functional and nice. It always feels like a premium product whenever you get a Sony piece of hardware.
The PSP, man, is
Except for the PS5, ugly motherfucker.
It is ugly.
How
but
dare you?
I appreciate they're like, fuck it, we're doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Because like the DualSense, I love the DualSense. Like holding the DualSense, I'm like, this thing is quality as fuck. And the haptic stuff, I'm still always impressed with it. Where I'm like, damn, this is cool as
And
hell.
you're like, wow, charging it feels so great because you have to charge it all the time.
Yeah, my dream device would be like a PlayStation Steam Deck type deal where I can play PlayStation 5 games on the go, and it could be big and bulky like the Steam Deck. I don't care, but like give me a PlayStation version of that. But that'll probably cost so much money.
Yeah.
I saw my first Steam Deck in the wild.
Oh,
On the flight you and I
no
were
way.
on. Yeah,
cool.
got a little Steam Deck.
What were they playing?
I can see. Can see. $20 super chat from the nanobiologist. Thank you, Nano. Nanosecond Gaming on TikTok says, bless, the Wii U is better for one fact. We keep asking for Wii U games ported to the Switch and not Wii games. Checkmate.
That's a terrible argument.
Says checkmate.
No, that's a terrible
He
argument.
said checkmate, though.
What's the next Wii U game you want ported to the Switch? That's to the question to the audience, and also if you have any.
Well, Xenoblade X is like one of the ones that's remaining. Nintendo Land, and I don't want Star Fox
Wow,
Zero.
such an exciting,
You don't want Star Fox Zero.
such
Star
an
Fox Zero
exciting lineup.
I mean, Star Fox Zero is one of my least favorite games I've ever played.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have personal beef with that game.
Give me
Oh,
NES
shit.
NES remix.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great one.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of Wind Wakers, of course.
And then yeah, of course the
Yeah.
HD.
$2 from CJ Splits on says, Andy, Tim, blink twice if Final Fantasy 16 preview was good. You can't see
Never
how many
gonna blink
times I'm
again.
blinking to cover my eyes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh, I saw how many.
Be careful.
You wouldn't believe it.
Be careful. $5 super chat from Squid Kuma says, what the hell's a Wii U? Pretty sure Baby Blue Tim made that up and is trying to gaslight everyone.
Yeah, the Wii U was the Switch beta test, essentially. Early access.
It really
It
was.
was like a weird Switch beta test plus Wii sequel, like in one
Yeah.
it's
weird ass platform.
It's like that sort of lore that Tam and Imran told us about, how Miyazaki loves putting a preview of the next game in his current game. So in like Dark Souls 2 or 1 or whatever, you get like, oh, that's a preview of a Bloodborne character. And oh, in Bloodborne, you get like a
like,
Sekiro sort of fight
yeah,
with
like
Lady
Lady
Maria.
Maria.
That's kind of what this was by Nintendo. That's so next level of them. They're so smart.
So smart.
Let's see here. Oh, the last super chat was from also yesterday. I just need to read as well. It was a $20 super chat, but I'd like for you two to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
People need to stop asking what Nick does at this company, because Nick was singing his heart off, shirtless, into the microphone. If you haven't checked out
People
that
need to
VOD
stop
yesterday,
asking what.
Wait, was that was that the super chat that people need to stop asking what Nick does?
yeah, because
Was that from Nick?
no, Nick was singing in that moment, but at that time, Mike was like, we need to tell Roger, like, hey, all the times you're like, what the hell does Nick do here? This is what he does here. Okay, he makes magic. Because
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has that thought of like, what's Nick's job?
Nick was just sitting down. I need you to know, Bless, that Nick was just sitting down yesterday during the Star Wars stream, shirtless, right? And out of nowhere, he goes, "What was that, Kevin? You want me to sing karaoke? All right." He just stood up in front of the green screen
I'm not gonna be on
and just started going with it.
or unless you're switching. I'm not on the thing. Okay.
$5 from Boda J says, Andy, how do you feel about the Braves this year? World Series or bust? We're winning it all, baby. Probably not.
To the moon.
Pyro Alex, $10 super chat says, hey, gang, I'm rebuilding an arcade cabinet and want to know what your favorite GBA game is that I can add to it.
Ooh, favorite GBA game. You know, I've been saying this a lot, but a GBA game that doesn't get enough love, but it's always going to be on a top 10 list, so it's like not like it's underrated or anything, is Astro Boy.
Oh.
Astro Boy. Yes, not bot. The one with actually good
That's
design.
one consonant or sometimes a vowel, sometimes a Y away.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But an incredible game that it's just, it's not one of the ones, it's not a Nintendo game. It's not whatever. It's like a weird third-party thing, so you wouldn't expect much from it, but it is so damn good.
I have such a weird history with the GBA because I think I only owned one for a little bit, and then like I think I gave it to my cousin or something. So I don't really have a good answer.
My history with the GBA is emulating it during high school, allegedly.
Yeah.
When like a low key one that might be high key now because it's on the GBA thing for Nintendo is Kururin. Yeah, like really fun, simple game where you're moving like a rotating platform through a level and trying not to hit the sides. Weirdly addicting and like really fun game. A basic answer would be the Pokemon games. Like that was one of the things that I spent the most time with when I was playing GBA in the back of class. It was Pokemon Emerald.
One of the greatest eras for Pokemon games, Gen 3, man. Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, like hitters.
Oh yeah, Fire Red, Leaf Green, yeah, especially like if you're thinking about getting back into the classic Pokemon games, I think Fire Red is a perfect jumping in point.
Yeah.
And then Mother 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden Sun is great.
Yeah.
The Tony Hawk 2 specifically is like awesome. It's like very different than the other type of Tony Hawk games. It's
Sort
like
of isometric.
It's isometric, but it's really, really fun gameplay and really different. Then what other GBA games? Minish Cap, Zelda Minish Cap is a fun, unique time. I think the art style like really makes the GBA sing in an interesting way. But the easiest and most obvious answer is the Castlevania trilogy. Like those games are fucking awesome. Circle of the Moon on.
Thank you for that, Tim.
There's also Metroid Fusion.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh,
Metroid
there's
Fusion.
Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission.
Yeah.
Metroid Zero Mission is a remake of Metroid 1 with some added content. It is fucking phenomenal. Like I hope that they put that on the Switch
Did
Online
we say
soon.
WarioWare as well?
No,
WarioWare is really
but that's
fun.
great.
Check out WarioWare.
Did they update any mechanics in Zero Mission?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To make it like, hey, here's sort of a more modern.
yeah.
It's not just a visual. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
no. It is like the definitive way to play Metroid 1.
Gotcha. Joshy G, $2 super chat. Thank you, Joshy G. Says Mario Sunshine better than Mario 64.
Stop
I would
doing
be so
the
interested.
weed.
I'd be very interested to have a deeper conversation with that. Like,
Stay
I want to
off
hear
the
what's the
weed.
argument.
Stay off the weed.
What's the argument there? Because like I can't fathom that adding up. Like Mario Sunshine, I feel like the mobility that Mario has is better than 64. The camera's better in most cases, not in all. The pachinko machine level is horrible. There's a couple fun challenges, but like overall, like I feel like Mario 64 in level design, in like creativity, in
Like discovery.
variation, discovery, like all of it's like it's just better.
Mario Sunshine reminds me of like a straight to VHS era Disney movie, and Mario 64 is like the big blockbuster that popped off in theaters. You know, the one that had fucking like Phil Collins or what's his face at the piano, Elton John. They popped off on that soundtrack.
Tarzan?
You know. You'll be in my heart.
That's fucking
Fuck,
hilarious.
so
See,
good.
I'm actually super with you, but I would say, like, to follow with that, like, some of those Disney sequels are fucking good. Where it's like, I think Sunshine is that, like, it's a Return to Jafar level of these things where it's like Sunshine is not a bad game. It's not, I don't think anywhere close to Mario 64 or Galaxy and stuff, but like, it's.
That being said, I've never played Sunshine. So.
Mario
That's the
64
thing is
overall
I've
is like an
tried
8.
playing Sunshine, and I keep falling off of it. I think one of these days I will finally play through it, but for the little of Sunshine I played, I've just not liked the mechanics. Mario 64 is like one of the greatest games of all time, in my opinion, right? Like you're talking about everything Tim said in terms of like the discovery of it. I really love the mobility of Mario 64, even to this day. Like I know it's weird because I've played it all throughout my life, and so I'm a bad judge. I'm a bad judge of it, but I feel like you pick that game up today, and like the way that Mario like kind of like slides back when you like hit the analog stick in the opposite direction, and the flips and the triple jump and all that stuff. It just feels so perfect. And then yeah, like the level design in that game is just magic, right? Like when you go, there was a fun GIF you sent me. Somebody made this really cool, pretty pixel art of all of the Mario 64 levels put together, so it looks like one world, and it looked incredible.
That looks incredible. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I would pay so much money to play through Mario 64 in this way because the level design of Mario 64 is so good. It's so varied. You have like levels like the first snow level you go to, and it's like this fun like it's almost like a fun puzzle box, right? When you kind of look at it zoomed out, and it's you can kind of see all, like, you can jump off of a cliff and then land back at the bottom. You can play with it that way. But something like Rainbow Road is way more spread out and almost feels like a level exploded and you're just hopping around in air. And like you start off that level, you can turn around, do a long jump, and end up on another part of that level. Like that's the kind of level design that I really fuck with. And Mario 64 came out as an early 3D game and absolutely nailed that to the point where I will still put that up to this day in terms of the best 3D platformers.
To this day.
To this day.
$10 super chat from Chase D says, so I think Blessing is making a mistake is he keeps saying Wii U is mid. Bless, I'm sorry, unless you mean mid because the quantity isn't there, but the quality is though.
I'm talking about both. I think.
Oh, this is your mic.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm talking about the Wii U library being mid, I am bringing in third party, which we didn't talk about a lot about. But even with first party, I think the thing for me is it's hard for me to believe in a Nintendo library that didn't have a landmark Mario title and like 3D World. I guess 3D World wasn't that for me. Like I look at 3D World as like almost like another entry to the 2D Mario series as opposed to the 3D Mario series. And for me, like 3D is where the main line is at now. And so like if you don't have that and you don't have a unique special Zelda game, I just can't put you up in terms of being one of the best, or not even one of the best, but like being a fantastic Nintendo library.
Torch with the $5 super chat.
In addition to 3D, there was also New Super Mario Bros. U, which is one of the best 2D Mario games, one of the best selling, one of the best critically received.
I don't
know, man.
If you're making a list of 2D Mario games, you're putting Super Mario Bros. U in the top 2.
Not top 2, but the thing is, if anybody's not putting it in the top 5, like they just didn't play it. Like they just looked at it and were like, I don't like the art style, which is valid. That's fair. The level design's impeccable. It feels like a sequel to Mario World. Like the quality is fucking there.
Torch, $5 super chat. Thank you, Torch. Says, the Wii U is the greatest game ever made. Breath of the Wild, automatic win for the Wii U.
It is the greatest game ever made.
Norman with a $5 super chat says, do y'all think Spider-Man 2 comic makes it more likely that September release date is correct? PS3 had a way better library than the Wii U.
Yes.
I mean,
yes to which one? Okay.
Spider-Man 2 is for sure coming this year. I think September could be. I believe in the rumor of like the voice actor for Venom leaking September, but I hope that it's October, just because I can't do Armored Core and Starfield and Spider-Man 2 like back to back to back.
What's
like
Starfield
that.
Right now?
Starfield is end of August. It's like August 25th. Or no, sorry, Starfield is beginning of September. Armored Core is end of August.
Delay it. Delay them all. Zaxxon Galaxian $5 super chat says, kind of a serious question, but why are we excited about the Activision Blizz acquisition? Why would Microsoft want the baggage that comes with buying them? In my opinion, it's like buying a superstar with a problematic past. You're still getting a superstar fucking three-point shooting, dunking, touchdown throw-ins, touchdown scoring, home run, grand slam hitting. If you are, the bottom line is making money. And if there's a way that you can acquire somebody and a big-ass group like that may have a lot of baggage with them, but you can somehow help with the management issues there while acquiring multi-fucking-billion-dollar franchises, why the hell not?
Yep.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm indifferent to it. Like, I'm not necessarily excited about the Activision acquisition, but I'm not, like, hating on it, right? Like I said, for me, it's just business. It's just pure business.
Yeah.
And I think it's more interesting from the idea of how does that place Microsoft in the video game console race, right? And like, what does that do in terms of selling Xboxes, and what changes in the ecosystem due to like this huge thing? For me, I'm not like, oh, let's go, Xbox bought Activision Blizzard. For me, it's like, oh shit, Xbox bought Activision Blizzard. What does this mean? Let's see.
Yeah. Mao the peasant says, Andy, I have 356 hours in Elden Ring. Should I play it again or move on? If so, what do you suggest? Move on, man. It's time to move on. I have probably around the same across three different playthroughs now with Mike and Nick on our big co-op adventure. Move on. I would say I just beat Dark Souls 3 recently. It was very good. Very, very good. $10 super chat from Pyro Alex says, hey gang, I'm rebuilding. Oh, I already read that one. That's a GBA question. Dcash. 38 PS3 games had a Metacritic of over 90%. Wii U had 7.
That's irrelevant. Like, yeah, it had a much larger library as well.
It's all about the rings. How many rings you got? You know what I mean? So, like, Mike, how many rings do you have? All right. Tristan Shelton with the final super chat. $2 says, any plans for tabletop/D&D streams? It would be fun. that's always something we want to do, and then there's a million things going on, and we can never fully commit to something like that. But I would love to one day do a super, I forget what they're called, like a short campaign, the ones that are just like, the one shots. Yeah, I would love to do something like that. Because I've never tried, but I'm also very nervous because I don't know the rules and I'm scared of feeling like an idiot, Tim.
We will do it at some point, but there's no plan, and I feel like that's going to be something that if we do it, I want to do it right.
Okay, this is for real, the final one from Gerardo Martinez. Gerardo says, "What's popping, y'all? Just want to say, gray-haired Andy yesterday looked all that in the bag of chips. Thank you. I wanted to read that one.
You look so good.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm moving. Gonna have that in my future. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Gerardo. Thank you, everybody, for your super chats here on this Q&A session after Kinda Funny Games Daily. Stay tuned because we're going to hit you right now with some multiplayer fun, 30-minute sponsored stream. After that, me, Nick, and Mike are moving into the lab for Valheim. We'll see you in the big gamers.